Welcome, welcome. Mentalism, correspondence, vibration, polarity, rhythm, cause and effect, gender. Countdown initiated. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome, everyone. We are live, and today is Thursday. That just reminded me of a song. Oh, I can hear it in my head. Da, 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 da. I don't remember the song, but I know I hear it in my head. But anywho, we're here. So let's get crack-a-lackin'. Scripture says, do not grow weary in doing good. Eh? What's that even mean? Do you know what weary is? Oh, weary is a greater degree. It's past exhaustion, I would say. But exhaustion is physical. Weary. Weary isn't physical. Weary is mental. Where you just, and I can't go on. You just feel like you cannot go on. What do you do when that happens? Well, first of all, prevention is better than cure, okay? Prevention is always going to be better. It is best to prevent yourself from weariness. So to prevent oneself from weariness, that like I said, exhaustion is physical because you can work really hard and you can be tired physically. But weary is when you feel in your mind's eye that you just cannot do it anymore. To prevent that from happening, you must make it your business every day to catch your mood and turn yourself around. Every day, let me tell you a little story. It's a true story. A very good girlfriend of mine stopped by the liquor store on Saturday. I saw her before she came in the door, there wasn't anybody at the till, so I ran around to the door. I mean, the door opened, she saw me, I saw her, and I hugged her. So then shortly after, like I'm in the middle of hugging her, this lady comes in and she goes, "Wait, what's going on?" I said, "Oh, you want a hug too?" So she's like, "Well, yeah." So I hug her. And then this lady and her husband were coming in and she's like, "Wait, there's hugs?" And so I said, "There sure is." So I hugged her too. And the husband looked at all of us and he goes, "You're weird." So we cracked up, right? Nah, I thought I had a loud laugh. I thought I had a cackle, but nah, you see that last lady we hugged? That was a cackle, let me tell you. And every time I heard it, I would laugh. Just cracked me right up. So they went on to do their shopping, and I'm talking to my bestie, and we're just cracking up and just talking, because she came to say hi. She told me some great news. I can't share it publicly, but she told me some great news. And the first lady that I hugged, who came in the door after my friend, she's paying. And she said, this is the first time today I smiled or laughed. I said, no. I said, no. She goes, yes, for real. This is the first time today I laughed, let alone smiled. And she goes, it's because of you. I was like, me? She goes, yeah, because you were hugging her. And I was like, oh, okay. Right? And we just started to laugh some more. I said, well, when you get up in the morning, you're going to laugh some more when you remember it. And so now the other lady and her husband are waiting in line. And so we say goodbye, and then her and her husband come up to be served. And he was like, women are weird. I said, no, we're not. You just don't get it because you're not a girl. Right? So the wife is laughing, and I'm laughing because she's laughing because her laugh is hilarious. And we're just all laughing. And so I said, well, y'all, I'll see you later. You know, you got to make sure and stop by and tell me how you're doing again when I see you. Why did I tell you that story? Because of simply what she told me. She said, this is the first time today that I've smiled, let alone laughed. You don't get that. Where must your mind be? Hmm, that nothing makes you laugh. Do you realize how deep in thought you must be? And it's not necessarily a lighthearted thought either. And so I can tell you because I woke up Saturday and I had to giggle again because because of the woman's laugh. That was hilarious. But also what the other lady, what the first lady said. And I was reminded, do you, boo boo, do you, always. And all I was doing was hugging my friend. I was just hugging my friend. That's it. I wasn't doing anything else. I wasn't doing anything fancy. I wasn't doing anything special. I was just hugging my friend. But you see, if we would remember, you see, that hug had a ripple effect. Now, what if, because we like to play, right? We like to jump in here with our imaginations and run amok. What if I was having a bad day and I was not being nice to somebody and they ended up taking it on and then we're mad at each other. Oh, you're so rude, blah, 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 blah. You know how we get, right? It would have the same effect. The people coming through the door would have been affected by that mood as well. So it's easy. So to prevent the weariness, you look for a reason to laugh. Now I've always told you what my father told me. Oh, you gotta love my daddy. He's something else. He said, you want a good joke? I said, yeah. He goes, look in the mirror. I was like, Daddy, are you for real? But you know, every time I look in the mirror, it doesn't matter what I'm doing. Every time I look in the mirror, that goes through the back of my head. And I have to laugh because he's funny. He's like, and he was serious, you know. See the look on his face. My father's expressions are awesome. And he was so serious. He goes, hey, you want a good joke? I was like, yeah. He leans in a little closer and he goes, look in the mirror. And I'm like, oh, Daddy, stop it. And then he laughs. And then I laugh. But there's not a moment that goes by that if I'm near a mirror or I see my reflection, I don't remember what he said. Because it's hilarious. You have the same effect when somebody says something to you that was not so nice. Oh, you look fat in them jeans. Oh, you ugly. Oh, you think you cute. You'll never amount to anything. It has the exact same effect. Do you know why? Because you recall it. All I'm doing is recalling what Daddy said, and all you're doing is recalling what the other person said. But pay attention to what you recall. Because what you recall, what you remember, what you ruminate, what you dabble in, will have an effect. And so, if they are good things that you recall and that you remember and that you reflect upon, you will prevent weariness. But if you indulge in the fear and the worry and the fretting and the, oh my God. Those things are like little leeches. I don't know if you've ever, listen, I have never had the pleasure of seeing a leech, and I'm grateful for that. But you know what leeches do, right? Leeches are bloodsuckers. They latch on to you and they have this anticoagulating saliva, quite like a mosquito, right? So when they open up a little tiny patch on the skin, they just sit there and it keeps flowing. They just keep sucking and sucking and sucking and sucking. And sooner rather than later, you begin to feel tired. And you can't explain why you feel tired. You just do. Well, I know why I'm tired. I work a lot and sleep a little bit. So, I get a little tired. But to prevent the weariness, be aware of the memories that you recall. Hmm? Become aware of the memories that you remember. You see, all we ever do is talk to ourselves incessantly, I might add. I don't know about you, but I know about me. We talk to ourselves incessantly, meaning all the time. There's no break. We don't let up from talking to ourselves. We do not. And because we talk to ourselves so much, what we say to ourselves is of grave importance, meaning it's very serious. Grave is serious. That's what it means. It's very serious what you say to yourself, meaning it's important. It's of grave import, serious importance, what you say to yourself. Because it is what you say to yourself in the silence and in the shadows that emanate from you. Okay? So if you do not catch yourself, remember this. We cannot sustain a mood indefinitely, which means you can't be happy 24/7, 365, 366, every day, all year, and a leap year too. We can't do it. You can't feel bad all day, every day, 365, 366. You can't. You're always going to move because there is a natural ebb and flow. But what gives the impression that something is lasting forever is the habit. Okay? It is the habit, and I've told you before. Every time you go back to that particular thing that you do, it doesn't matter what it is that you do. The fact that you do it all the time, it's on autopilot now. It became on autopilot. It put itself on autopilot. You've got to understand what's happening in the body. When you can comprehend what's happening in the body, you'll see what's happening in the mind. Because then you'll be able to read the pattern. And you've got to be able to see the pattern because the body, right? Where the unknown, which is in the mind's eye, masculine, it starts to take on form and shape, meaning you embody it and now it is feminine. So you got to look at the feminine to understand the masculine. Masculine doesn't mean man. Feminine doesn't mean woman. Okay? It's just that we've been using them interchangeably, and that is not the case. To be male has certain characteristics. To be female has certain characteristics. Okay? Just like masculine. has certain characteristics. The characteristics of masculine, meaning it's invisible. You don't see it yet. It is a seed, a mental seed. And you have to plant that mental seed so that it will take shape and you will do it because you have become it. So to have form and shape is feminine. So when you are consistently doing a particular behavior, because remember, you can't sustain a mood. You go in and out of it. Ebb and flow. You go in and out like the waves of the ocean. Okay? That's just what you do. In and out like the waves in the ocean. It's not always high tide, it's not always low tide. But you fluctuate between the two. But what makes it seem and appear that it is constant and feels like forever is the habit. Because you always go back to the habit, Neville calls it your home state, meaning the mental attitude that you return to most often is now your mental habit. And that mental habit looks like it's there all the time. It just looks like it's there all the time. And it is there all the time because you go back to it all the time. Even then, you're still ebbing and flowing. You're still ebbing and flowing, ebbing and flowing. But which one do you do most often? Do you ebb most often or do you flow most often? You can't stop ebb and flow, but you can switch between which one you do most often by making it a habit. So weariness is that mental drain on the body. Ah, did you hear it? It is a mental drain on the body. Where else would it happen? Where else would it happen? Because weary begins masculine, it's invisible. Nobody sees that just yet. But if they talk to you long enough, you'll begin to hear the tone of the voice. Oh, but I've been really trying so hard, you know. I just don't even know if I have it in me. Uh, I just need a moment. Now, if somebody's really listening to you, they'll begin to pick up on the fact that, wait, there's something going on here. You see? So weariness starts off invisible, but then the body has to show you. So if you've been doing something for so long, you know what that behavior is. You've been doing it for so long. All it is a habit. If you'll notice, there's been a theme for the last little while because many of us do not understand that part. We think we are suffering. We think that we're going through a hardship. Well, the exterior sure as heck is telling you you're going through a hardship. The exterior, whatever this thing is that you're looking at in your life, is telling you you're going through a hardship. And so it starts to wear at you. It starts to erode your mental prowess. It just makes you tired. But if you can understand that it is only a habit, why am I telling you that? Because we think the habit is our lives. We think the habit is our destiny. A habit will become your destiny through cause and effect. You keep doing the same thing the same way all the time. You got to keep doing the same thing the same way all the time. And that thing that you're doing all the time the same way, it has an effect. that you must experience on the outside. So then it looks like, oh my God, I can't catch a break. That's what it looks like. But it only looks like that because in your mind's eye, you are feeling the weariness of it. And because you're feeling the weariness of it, because you're feeling the weariness of it, you don't feel like you can go on anymore. Because you're tired. Not because you don't want to go on anymore. It's just because you're tired fighting. That's the difference. You don't actually want to stop going on. You just want the thing you're fighting against to become easier so that you don't have to fight anymore. Well, the way to prevent the fighting is to recognize when you start to go into that mood. Remember, that mood has become autopilot and you don't even know when you go into it anymore. Deliberately, you don't know that you're going into it. Unwittingly, you do know because you say, oh God, here we go again. You see it? That's what you're saying. Oh, here we go again. Here I go again on my own. You know what? This is what happens to me. I'm like a squirrel sometimes. And I'll say something and a song will pop up and I'm like, oh, shoot. And I just, just blurt it out. But catch it. Here's a shortcut to help you catch it. You tell yourself, sometimes when I'm in thought, this is what I do physically, this is what I do. When I'm in thought, I tap my forehead and I tell myself, if you catch me or when you catch me in that mood, show me right away so that I can change it. You set a guard at the gate. This is what will prevent you from having to work so hard. Set a guard at the mental gate. It's quite like, I always tell my son, if you want to wake up at 8 o'clock, tell yourself, wake me up at 8. You don't have to say it out loud. Just tell yourself, wake me up at 8. And I promise you, 7:50, 7:55, your eyes are going to open. It's not magic. It should tell you that when you speak, you hear. That's what it should tell you, that when you speak, you hear. But do you not? You don't have to verbalize anything, but you can hear it in your head. So who's listening? Who's listening when you speak? So to set the guard at the gate, tell yourself what you want to do. I want to catch myself every time I begin to feel in whatever way that you're feeling, whatever that way is that you want to catch. You tell yourself, every time I feel that way, show it to me. Tell me. Show me. Tell me that I'm right there. Why? Because when you see it, what do you want to change it to? Just tell yourself, I know I have a habit of feeling this way. Next time I feel this way, don't talk too much to yourself. Just give a command. When I get in this mood, show me. Because now you're going to do something when you see that you're in that mood. You're going to deliberately get out of it. Hello? Is this thing on? When that mood comes up and you see it, you say, okay, I want to feel like this. And you switch and you feel the way you want to feel. Now, sometimes that would mean a song. At least for me, it does. I'll play a particular song. reggae nights. We will be jamming till the morning light. Right? It's just a song. Something that means something to you, that makes you feel good. So now what you're doing, every time you catch it, you change it to what you want it to be. Every time you catch it, change it to what you want it to be. Every time you catch it, change it to what you want it to be. Now you're not fighting, you're not struggling, you're not trying to sort it out. No, you are just redirecting. Why? Because it is just like the baby. What baby? The baby that you want to sit in front of its toys and have it play with its toys and not be distracted by the shiny stove. Because it's going to start to crawl over to the stove because the stove is shiny. Can't compete with shiny, you know? So every time it sees the stove, it's like, ooh, shiny, let me touch. Are you going to holler at that baby? The baby doesn't understand a word you're saying. It's a baby. It doesn't understand a word. Are you going to kick the baby? Well, I hope not. I sure hope not. So you're not going to be violent, right? But you will be gentle. You say, oh, I know the stove is exciting. But let's play with toys. These things are nice to play with. These things are nice to play with. And every time it goes, bring it back to where you want it to be. And something will happen. It will remain where you put it.